So friends, I'm going to share with you a few thoughts. Which thoughts will matter to you as an individual, as a business operator, but also it will matter for us as a community of entrepreneurs. It's about managing business pains in an ever-changing environment. And there is a word there which is not a good word to hear, but the word is real. The word will never disappear. Whether you are number one, whether you're a beginner, whether you are the best example, pain, pain. A lawyer there has spoken. What he has not told you is, in the course of his glorious journey, there came some very unfortunate, unplanned incident. They were repairing a road around the fish pond, and somehow that machine went and knocked the fish pond. And he had one large one at that time, and all the fish left. After they had been fed, after they had grown a bit, the fish pond was knocked and the fish left. In the morning he reaches the fish pond, it is dry. Where do you begin? He knocked doors upon doors. He went to all types of offices, including the World Bank funding the project, including LOC5, including Ocici and Enterprise Uganda. The pain was unbearable. But whom did it have to take to change it? A lawyer. If you had to say, I leave it to God, today there would be no fish pond. Remember the pain? You were almost saying, and at that time, this current MP is called who? Mapendusi. Mapendusi was LOC5 in the area and was a strong man. He could not accelerate the compensation. The journey of an entrepreneur, you have no idea where the next stone is coming from. As you are serving the customers, as you are doing all you want to do, you have no idea where the next stone is coming from. But the point is, that stone will come. It will leave you alive, but not the same, you will be stronger. So I'm going to talk about the pains so that you, starting now as you live here, for the next 12 months, just know that you are walking a normal journey of pain, a journey of a transformer, and a journey for which you are the chief architect of that success. But as I share these pains and these stories, I'm going to concentrate on the stories that happened in the year 2023 amongst our entrepreneurial community. I'm going to illustrate the pain using some very specific subtitles. Then from those subtitles, you ask yourself, am I in that kind of a subtitle? If that kind of a subtitle can get pains, what about me? What about me? So I have a few stories here that I'm going to go through, and the purpose is to prepare you for a journey for which there is no video on what will be happening to you in 2 months' time, in a year's time, in 10 years' time, but things are going to unfold. But at the end of the day, you will stay the course and continue to generate transformation in our country. But later I will share with you what I call the only way you must continue in this path and never relent. And it's the story and a quick statement from Warren Buffett, again an American. There's a story that will represent what it takes to exist as a business operator anywhere in the globe. So that's where I will be closing my statement. So the review of 2023 and the overall statement is, there will be no business size, no business history that will leave you secure. You become the biggest in your district, doesn't secure you. You have had an outstanding appreciation from the customers, doesn't secure you. You are loved by everybody, doesn't secure you. That is the title that I have chosen as I do the review of the year. And the first statement that I'm putting in here for you to appreciate is, even pioneers are not guaranteed to create generational enterprises. You are a pioneer. You are the beginner. You are the pace setter. You are the first footprints. But there will be no guarantee that because you are the pioneer, you will, because of that history, continue to exist. And I have just two examples. Those two examples, I want to see the slides. I don't know why it cannot be put the other way around. Oh, that's the way I want it, like that. The way it is in my computer, the image is the other way around. The man you are seeing there, many of you are young, you may not appreciate him. That man should not have just been one of Uganda's greatest entrepreneurs or pioneers. He should have been Uganda's greatest entrepreneur, East Africa's best, probably one of the best in Africa. In the league of the Aliko of Nigeria. That is Okumu Ringa. That man at the age of his 30s, he was the franchise owner of Peugeots in this country. Today, the most dominant car is what? Which brand? Toyota. Those days, it was Peugeot everywhere. Peugeot. And that was the man doing the importation. And those days, we were having only brand new cars. In his 30s, that man was doing that business. He supplied the police. He supplied the prison. He supplied the ordinary owners of cars. He made money. And as he was doing that, he went to his community in Nebi and put up one of the biggest buildings, which probably, if you put age to it, it is one of the oldest, biggest block built by a black Ugandan in Uganda. It is in Nebi. But should you go and look at that building today, it is in a sorry state. Windows are gone. Paint is gone. Doors are gone. Almost in a disused condition. The great entrepreneur also, along the way, became the darling of the banks. But a couple of years down the line, after he had made his mark, even within the city of Kampala, for those who know where Kaboja Junior School is, it is on two roads. There is Acacia Avenue, and on the lower side is Windsor Avenue. In between there is a building that's housing the school. That was the home of Okumuringa. That he begot long ago when the blacks were only being allocated houses by government. This man, by that time, was owning his own home. Today, that home is accommodating a big, prestigious primary school. I bring that story because many of us must be saying, are we the first to go through this game? What could have happened to the people who came before us? Where did we lose it? And that man, if you checked in the books of many banks, was a darling. He was a darling. But the painful thing that some of you may have seen those days when he was in his last part of the game, his property was put outside that Acacia Avenue building and was left in the rain for weeks because of the pain he went through to see his home being advertised because he could no longer rescue it. I'm bringing this to all of us here because I do not want to see a repetition of this so much. And I'm saying this because there are some of the things that could have happened, which as Enterprise Uganda, we teach people. Because we teach people that before you touch that loan, one of the C's that you always will make an error on is cash flow. Tell me, where is the money going to come for the loan you are going to pay? Cash flow is not something you pray for. You make it to happen. Cash flow again, and cash flow again. If you are not paying a loan, tell me, show me the cash flow you took to the bank. Let's start from there. What is the cash flow saying? You sign an agreement which is saying you are going to pay a loan on a quarterly basis. Where is the history confirming that? So friends, I want us to appreciate that in our history, we've had some illustrious Ugandans walk this path, we've never analyzed what made them to have a slippery journey. But that message exists. This man is Harvard educated. I need to add that one to you. Just in case you think, those days, this must have been some reckless Magendo people. They were not. There was no Magendo about that kind of a story. So I just wanted us to recognize that as we talk about this story, the story of Okumu is something in our books, but our management books do not capture them. If they were capturing them, you should be saying, am I walking the path that might be similar to a great man that lived in this country? And that man did a lot to transform his community. Gave them boreholes, educated so many other Ugandans. But his last years, he couldn't even be allowed to stay in his home in Kampala because that home was needed by a bank to recover the loan. And the bank had to do it because Bank of Uganda was saying, is this loan secured? If it's secured, have you sold the assets? If you have not sold the assets, please, those days it was Barclays Bank that had that loan. They would be telling Barclays Bank, please, can you quickly rethink whether you need to belong in the banking sector? Bank of Uganda is adamant. They will make sure that whichever loan agreement that has been signed by any borrower, it must be enforced. The first person to ensure that that thing works is you. So that's the story of a great Ugandan that I thought we need not to just gloss over, because at some point he became a minister. You might be saying, because he became a politician, that's why. This is real. There's another story that happened this year, and then finally this man actually died. Architect Kamia. Architect Kamia was probably one of the finest architects who have had. There's another one who also later died recently, but those two were the real great architects in this country. He built and owned a great office block, one of the most modern in the country. That's Simba Manyo. The rental income from there could have allowed him to buy a plot of land along Lumumba Avenue every year. Lumumba Avenue has got about 62 plots. By the time it is 20 years when he was owning that property, he would be owning half of Lumumba Avenue. But then the architect said, why don't I come up with another beautiful hotel facility on a hill of Kampala? And he put it in Mbuya. It was called Afric Suites. Afric Suites was secured by Simba Manyo as a loan. But as we speak now, the hotel never took off well. It struggled to get occupancy. And you yourself, as I speak these messages, you should be saying, whatever I borrowed money for, is it getting the kind of utilization level that it should be doing? Or is it going to be rescued by the collateral that have been given? These are the things we don't give in the management books. But we as Enterprise Uganda, each time we gather you, we want to tell you that you're on a path that has been walked by others. Please never gloss over issues. That architect was a great man. The first loan he got was from the UN agency that does housing. Then when that one couldn't work out, he got to commercial banks. But unfortunately, the hotel was not functioning. And today, he battled and battled. He went to appeal and appeal, appeal and appeal. But before he could get the final judgment, he died. The pain of walking every day, and you wake up and you are saying, this hotel, this building that I own, am I going to lose it? I had it before I got the hotel on a hill. So Ugandans, as you do all these kind of things, never miss an opportunity to read a story behind a story. And each time you get to interact with Enterprise Uganda, we want you to know that Kamia was an honest man. Kamia wanted to succeed. Kamia did all it took to build a good hotel on Mbuya Hill. Kamia did a beautiful construction of a beautiful office block called Simba Manyo. But after you have done all that, the business entity must work as one. To what extent is the new enterprise that you are borrowing for going to take off on its own and stop depending on the mother enterprise that generated the land on Mbuya Hill? I bring these messages to us because, again, these were pioneers. Kamia was a pioneer of a modern office block in this city. Modern office block. Many of us are having offices in Naguru, in Bugolobi, in Ntinda, which used to be residential units. Then you convert them into offices. Kamia goes to a place in the city center and cleans it up and puts up a decent office block. The first man to do it. And then today, the family is all the time saying, we had got it right for a while. Along the way, we lost it. Does Uganda sit up and listen and watch and ask questions? As I keep saying, he never was a deliberate defrauder of banks. He never. But the cash flow did not work out. You ask yourself, shouldn't he have started with a smaller number of rooms? Because it is resting on 2 acres of land. 2 acres of land. In between there, before the other part of the building was fully occupied, he added another one. He meant well. He meant well. So when you come to interact with us here as Enterprise Uganda, our message is, Oloya is a great young man. Oloya, stand up again. Oloya, stand up again. That's a great story anywhere. In Atlanta, in Geneva, you take that story anywhere, they will clap for him. Let's clap for Oloya. $2 million turnover every 12 months in one business line. But he has got chicken, he has got trees, he has got soya. Soya, last time you had how many acres of soya? How many? 100 acres. There you are, soya alone. 100 acres of soya. Just imagine how big 10 acres is. But multiply that by 10. Multiply that by 10. Lawyer, sit down. We want that story never to be disrupted. That's why when we see him, it's like an egg. We want to preserve him. We want to preserve him. He is vulnerable because do you know that right now, if I'm a banker, I will disturb a lawyer until he borrows from me. And then the next banker will also be saying, oh, lawyer, come and we have a lunch. We want to give you money. We will not ask a lawyer questions. We just say, oh, lawyer, we love you. Take money. Take money. Before you know it, all lawyers taken money left and right, and the cash flow was not an issue. He simply said, the bankers are saying I'm good. The bankers are saying I'm good. Bankers have got targets. And you don't blame them. That is their business. It is you to do the evaluation, not the bank to do the evaluation for you. Is everybody listening? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's go to another statement. Remember, we're reviewing 2023. Whatever I'm saying here, it happened in the last 12 months. It's our country. The second statement is high entry barrier sectors. A sector which is so difficult to enter. Those high entry barrier sector leaders today are gasping for life. You manage to enter a very difficult sector, which would be very hard for any other person to come after you. But then suddenly, you became a leader, and now you are struggling to remain there. What happened? The sector is so difficult to break into. You broke into that sector. After you broke into that sector, you became number one. Then after you become number one, you are dying. You are dying. You are dying. But the sector is blossoming. The sector is blossoming. And who are the stories I'm talking about here? I'm talking about Rocco Construction. Give me the picture there. Give me the picture for Rocco. Twist it. That is a front page article of our local newspaper saying shillings 200 billion Rocco deal opens old wounds. What was that story talking about? It was talking about a number one sector company, not just in Uganda, not just in East Africa, but in the Horn of Africa. struggling to be rescued with 200 billion shillings. And no bank wanted to touch them. But let me tell you about Rocco. Did you know that the new building of Bank of Uganda was built by Rocco? Do you know that there are many other roads built by Rocco? Do you know that there are many signature projects that have been built by Rocco? Not just in Uganda, in Sudan, in Kenya, in Tanzania, and they are dominant in Rwanda. Today, the giant is saying, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. But friends, those of you who are not following some of these things closely, there's something that came out in the course of analysis when they took the account to Parliament to try and see what do we do to rescue this account. Did you know that this is the name that is structured the value chain of real estate? In other words, people now who crush the stones, they want to be suppliers of Rocco. People who mine the sand, they want to be supplier of Rocco. People who get the other aluminum materials, they also want to be. So they organize the value chain of construction. The anchor player in the sector finally begins to stagger. And you ask yourself, what happened? And I'm bringing this because I want to be reminding you all the time that where you are seated, did you know that because you are surrounded by very many poor relatives, they are praising you? They are telling you, well done, you are the best that has happened to us. They are praising you. Poor man, poor lady. There you are struggling with mental issues. You see what Paul has just said, mental issues, real ones. But we are praising you. So we bring these stories to just sober you up a bit and make you to calm down and begin to know that, thank you for the praise, but I have a battle ahead of me. I have a battle ahead of me. The story that came in this particular story or example is the founders gave way to the next generation. Just imagine a hotel called Sheraton, run by some mature people and competing with other hotels like Golden Tulip, Serena, who are also mature people. Then Sheraton hands over the big name, the children. The hotel is big, the league where it is playing is big, but you have handed over to the children. And the muscles of the kids are weak. The other people will say, let's go for the battle now. Finally, the fellows who used to steer this boat have given way. The next generation has come. So I'm painting a picture here for all of us, that as you look at the story of Rocco, read the story behind the story and sober up. You are about to hand over the batons to the next generation. To what extent have you been putting these fellows to carry the yoke? And you're going to leave on holiday. Numa Feeds, Robert Masiko is not around. Did what we told him to do. Robert Masiko is the owner of Numa. So we told him that your children are now of age. They are marrying, they are wedding. I attended the wedding of a son just the other, last when was that? Was it in August or July? July we were in Bushenyi to attend the wedding of a son of Numa. We had told Robert that please go on a holiday where nobody reaches you for 30 days. Let those fellows run the huge thing that supplies capital shoppers, that exports to Canada, that exports to UK, and listen to what's going to happen to them. When you are still what? Alive. When you are still alive, let the fellows make the errors. One day, one time, you will fall sick and you start seeing these errors and your body is telling you, please give up. Don't think about that thing. Please give up. The body is speaking. Please, it's time for you to come home. Please. It is a very painful last journey that you don't want to go through. So anyway, the story of Rocco is a story that has been taken to Parliament for rescue. But I don't want to lose the import of that story. The story is, there are many of us who are just glossing in and saying, I'll see what happens later. God will see what will be done. So, In a similar situation is another story of Pearl of Africa. I don't want to speak so much about it, but this individual, many of us do not know that he had dominated the grain business for a long time. This individual had also been a major investor in Dubai. Then in 2007, what did we say? We said, please entrepreneurs who are going to host Chogam, whoever's got resources, build a hotel because we want hotels. This man said, I have the money, give me land. And the most premium land in the city was indeed allocated. That's Nakasoro Hill. But he had to do the location, to locate the source of money. He had to look for the source of money. The money needed would not be given by any single bank. But he said, let me do the looking for the money. That was 2007. By the time we were hitting 2017, 10 years later, there was still no customer in the hotel. The loan was blowing up. Will you sleep? The building is going up, but it's not about the building, it's not about the walls, it's not about the glass. You see how it is? It's about the customer. Where are the customers? You are branching from grain trade to now a highly sophisticated hotel industry. To what extent have you humbled yourself to make sure that professionals will guide you to enter that sector? Even just 10 rooms, this one is 275 rooms. Even 10 rooms of a hotel, ask the owners of a hotel here, and you'll see what it means to run a hotel. Not easy at all. And I bring this to all of us here because, as I keep saying, Uganda is a young economy. Opportunities are everywhere. We will keep inviting you. Please come and start a hotel. Please come and start a school. Please come and start. Then you just, I am the needed one. I'm the loved one. My God, the pain that is going to come. The pain that is going to come. I want to control you. If you talk to a lawyer today, a lawyer will tell you, in his portfolio, not a single debt finance has yet come. And we keep warning him, we will disrupt you with loan offers. We will do everything to get you take the loans. And by the way, I'm not against loans. My background is banking. So I'm not against loans. I'm only saying, as a banker, I sell loans. It's you to know whether you want it or not. My work is to sell shoes. If I'm selling shoes, I'm going to sell a shoe. It's you to say, Ocici, not today. It's a good shoe, but not today. Not today. But there's no way you will stop a banker from coming to you and selling you something you have not asked for. And did you know that just associating with a banker, having a lunch with a banker is a great thing in a community? To even know that a banker knows your number, you feel good. You feel good. But answer the right question. Have you looked at the assumptions behind that thing? When we talk about the cash flow, the most important thing that makes a cash flow valid is the assumptions behind the figures you are talking about. If you can give me the figures and give me the assumptions and they are robust, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. So anyway, Pearl of Africa is a painful story. It has been advertised. The due date, I think, is 30th of November for the bids to be received. Can you imagine being in that state for 16 years, just building that hotel alone? You might be saying, he got money. Ask him how much sleep he got. Ask him. Ask him how much sleep he got when he was supervising the delivery of cement, the iron bars, the glass, the chairs, the tiles. Never underestimate what it means to put that block on the market. It is pain. Pain. Ask a lawyer when the fish went away. The fish went away and the people were watching. Hey, he was always thinking that was the rich one. Let's see how far he will be able to start again. The rest of the people are saying, let's watch him. Let's watch him. When you look at that building, ask the man, ask yourself, what did it take to put up even one floor? Even one floor. Even if the loan was to be just a donation, just to finish one floor, it's a tough calling. Let me take you to another statement. The statement is saying, top-notch technology is no insulation, no insurance from the pains. Because you might be saying, I'm going to have the best technology that I can ever have. It is not going to guarantee your safety or your good sleep. And I have a story of a great brand that today is making the owners to really, really have a tough time. Let me first tell you what Beansika is. Beansika is the story of chicken. If you are into chicken, you must associate with the Beansika. Because that's where the meat will come from. The chicks are going to come from. The eggs are going to come from. The feeds are going to come from. As they were moving on with this great story, it became a little bit complicated and big. They got friends from South Africa. That partnership didn't quite go as they would have wanted. So they decided to keep away from the mainstream partnership. That's why today we have got Beansika International still running. But Beansika, the originator of the whole story, is under receivership. It is on sale. But may I tell you this? That is the name that provided the value chain of value addition to feeds, value addition to anything that you want to do with eggs. Things to do with the chicks, they are the ones who did that story. And do you know what it means to bring machinery and make a machinery to hatch the eggs? And the machinery they have today hatches eggs that give 460,000 chicks per week. Did you hear the figure right? It's 500,000 chicks per week. Now it's almost quiet. Quiet. Technology is there. The silos are there. The workers who knew what to do have since moved on. What a story, what a pain. And I bring this because I know where you are going, and because you are an isolated case of a great story, we are going to spoil you with opportunities to invest in. Become Kakana. Bedimot. If you are from Luo language, Bedimot. If you are from Teso, Inapakin. Inapakin. Bedimot. Kakana. Muikikane. Those are the words. Those are the words, friends. So, when you see these stories happening, and when you see Enterprise Uganda being concerned that no matter how big you are, we want you. Don't keep away. Don't go too far. Remain close. Remain close. Remain close. That's the story. That's the story. Has it come through? That's the story there. 21 billion. The tough case. He's now saying it's no longer the customers. It is now somebody to just bail me out. I don't need to sell anything to get out of this. And then finally, I want to close with this one. A very fine story of a great person who made what I feel was one of the biggest investments in the country. A fine journey of a founder is no surety for succession planning. You have been great as an entrepreneur. You have come for these sessions. You have attended Enterprise Uganda sessions. It is no surety that succession is going to take place. You've got to plan for it deliberately. And the man owning the BMK group, he did all he could, including writing a book, to give all of us hope, to give us a chance to see what he did. Coming as a little boy from Masaka, dealing in coffee, later beginning to trade in things and traveling to Japan as a little boy on his own, with basic education. He says, give me land, I start. You are seeing this big thing here. He thought it was done. It was not built overnight. They built it in bits. In bits, you may be saying, oh, this fellow must have been very lucky. In bits. He built it in bits. Today, if you see the kind of people that are in here, if you do not have the kids to wear a similar mindset and say, how do we take off from here? You go and check each of the toilets here. Each toilet has got a paper saying, today is Wednesday, the 15th of November. Every 1 hour, have you checked the toilet? Have you checked the toilet? Have you checked the toilet? If it has been like that for a long time because of the founder, how about the next generation? This is one man who demonstrated that a local person can go into a solid, tough sector and win. This is the biggest conference facility in the country. But do you know what happened? Before 12 months are over, we saw that big advert. Have you shown the advert there? Front page of the New Vision. Before 12 months are over, after great Ugandan has departed, they are telling you, members of the family came and have borrowed, they are not paying. We want the property sold. And when I bring these friends, I want you to just be reflecting on yourself. Please, just reflect on yourself and just say, am I doing something about this kind of occurrences? Or am I just saying, that fellow must have been... No. This running Africana, even if we donated to you now, if we donated you Africana now, and checked after 6 months, you'll have one light here, one there, one there, one there. The rest you'll be saying it is too much power. You will not light all these things you are seeing here. It will not happen. The water, it will be disconnected. But the hotel was a donation. A donation, but a resource or infrastructure is not a business. A solution delivery is the business, not just the infrastructure. So I want you to be saying, when I look at a story like this man truly walked a journey of somebody for all of us to stand up and salute. That advert does not dilute his story in any way at all. But for those who love jealousy and Nugu and Itima and Nyeko, they will say, now you can see they are also suffering. The point is this. Learn from these stories and just know there is something in there which needed to have been fixed. Is it the governance issues? Is it the way you are going to manage the HR? Is it the way the systems are becoming part of the journey going forward? All those things should be the things we should be asking ourselves rather than saying, there must be him. Then you go for the easy route, or they must have stolen money to build that conference hall. Go and check the gardens. The gardens are mowed, they are clean, they cut the grass. Go and check all the rooms, the water flows. Take over those rooms and you'll see what will happen. So I brought this all together because I want now to come to a close. And my closing statement is this. Remember, there are two drivers of wealth. Those two, don't forget them today, tomorrow, until your God comes for you. If those two drivers of wealth are not appreciated by you today, tomorrow, whatever time, you're in trouble. Your children, whoever, must appreciate those two drivers of wealth. What are those two drivers of wealth? Sell a solution that meets client needs. That solution that you must meet is a bare minimum you must do. In other words, what does my client want? I must give it plus. And how do you know that the customer has become happy? He comes back. Our clients of Rocco coming back? They are not. Our clients of Africa Hotel coming back? They are not. Our clients of some of the people who are not, they are not. If you just see that first basic thing as it refused to happen, don't pray about it. Work on it. Work on it, work on it, and please tuck the tail between your legs and forget the long history. Clients are not coming back. Work on it. Number two, if you are going to continue with that wealth, be ready to compete, because There is no space you are occupying and there are no people willing to take over. And all your workers can be taken away. Just every employee you see as good workers can be taken tomorrow, all of them. Even the land that you are renting, the house you are renting to do your hardware, tomorrow you can be removed by the landlord and say, I refund you your money. Please, I'm giving somebody else this place. Be ready to compete. Those are the two things you must keep in your radar system. If I were you, I will put them somewhere where I sit all the time and just say, Ocici, please remember this two every day you wake up. Margaret, remember the things as you wake up. Or lawyer, remember the things as you wake up. Is my customer coming back? Is the competition taking away my clients? And if they are taking, what is causing them to take my clients? Please, and I want to say, Americans, for us in Uganda, we are very religious. When we face problems, we give it to God. We leave it to God now. Me, I leave it to God. They have taken my customers. You know, my work has gone. Even Jane has left. Me, I leave it all to God. Ask yourself, why did Jane leave? You had a great man in charge of conferences in Africana. If he has left, why? Why? Anyway, as I close, let me go to my Warren Buffett's message. This is what he says. And I call it a timeless advice. Timeless. Warren Buffett says, the moment you are in a crisis, and by the way, crises never end. You finish one, another one is on the way, and they don't announce themselves. They just arrive. The moment you are in a crisis, by far the best investment you can make is in yourself. Don't even say, I think government has seen this. I think let's wait for government. Did you know recently, I forgot to bring that newspaper, which is put straight on front page of the New Vision. It says, government abandons entrepreneurs of Southern Sudan deals. If you had been banking on the government to rescue you, government had said, now we have no money, we never sent you to Southern Sudan. Just ended. The crisis came. You thought you could hand it to somebody. Invest in yourself. The crisis has arrived. What is it I can work with today? And he goes ahead. Because you might be saying, oh, at least we have no crisis. He says, when all is flowing smoothly, that's the time for temptations, for loans, for diversification, for this, for the other. What does Warren Buffett say? Invest in systems. That will tell you, before you open a second branch, this is what we must do. If we open a second branch, this is the window for it to depend on the old business, beyond which it must be wind out. Warren Buffett, in that one statement, speaks something that is immortal in terms of advice. In a crisis, point at yourself to fix the situation. When things are glorious and people are all clapping, please, the emotions take over. The brain is no longer sober. Go back to systems. Before you can donate, according to our financial manual, how much is the budget for donations? Oh, it is 2 million. How much have we already donated? What does the bishop want? He wants a budget of 40 million. But in our budget here, we had 2 million. We have already spent 1 million. We have only 1 million. Let's give the bishop 1 million. And give it without blinking an eye. It is in the systems. You go beyond that because you're excited. Woo-hoo! As you finish that donation, it goes the other way around and say, that young man is the best in the community. He has just given us 5 million. The school also comes. Please, sir, our children have got no desks. Sir, we need a motorcycle for the headmaster. You have just given 2 million the other side. These people want only 3. It looks small. Give it the 3. As that one goes away with the motorcycle, it goes again round. And another one will say, please, sir, you know, the house of the reverend is in a bad state. We need some iron sheets. We only need you to give us 2 million. You have suddenly become a business of donations. Why? There are no systems to control you. When things are smooth, brother, sister, humble yourself. Get the systems to tame you. Get the systems to tame you. Now, when I talk about systems, I want to program them in 5 batches. There are systems on marketing and customer care. We will have detailed discussion on this later. But there are systems for that. There are systems for operations. How you purchase, how you utilize various items. We will give you more details on those ones. There are systems for human resources. Do not get excited and just say anywhere you go and somebody says, we have got a daughter here. She has just finished a degree. You give her anything to do. The next day you are giving somebody a job. Did the business need the customer, that person? The business didn't need it. It is you who needs this person. Take her wherever you want to take. The business doesn't need the person. Systems will tell you that there is a vacancy here. And for this vacancy, this is the requirement of this person. And if there is no vacancy, don't fear the word no. One of the things I want you to go away with today, never be a nice person who loves the word yes. You want to please everybody. You want to be the one who has come to rescue the nation, the country, the clan. That word yes, yes. And then they call you nice, nice, nice. Can you also become a bit bitter once in a while? So systems will take care of human resources as well. Systems will also address the aspect that I want to close with. It is here. All these are systems that, and what they do, I've just put them there. I'm running through them quickly. The last one that I just wanted to, look at the systems that govern business finance. Where are your sources of capital? Are they diversified? Are they improving? On loans, what are the terms and conditions of the numerous loans that you are borrowing? What are they? Are they getting better or they are getting worse? On loans, what's the purpose of the loan? Is the loan fitting the purpose? The other category where systems must come on is records on leadership and governance. Do you have a mission? Do you have a vision? Do you have values? Do you have a business plan? Do you have annual work plans and a budget? Do you have organization or the organogram? Do you have an auditor, even if it's some diploma holder who comes and checks on the books and tells you what has happened? Do you know how to delegate, or are you just saying delegating, just announcing something and then somebody is supposed to do it? Delegation is a tough skill, and for which we will be giving you some bit of education. How about succession planning? These are some of the things that were behind the stories that we're talking about. Friends, I must close here.